So in the previous lecture, I have given one problem, and in this problem, I have told you to calculate the following. So some of the students have done it, and they have asked me to upload the answers. So these are the answers. So diameter is 3.97 centimeter. The ERMS is 90.44 kV per centimeter. Okay, and the charging current is 20.73. So, according to your specification, it's better to calculate in per kilometer because we are actually making it as a distributed parameter. So, it should be in a per kilometer basis. So, here is if the total kilometer is of 5 kilometer. So, just divide it with 5, you will get 4.414 ampere per kilometer. Okay. So, this is the final answer. Try it and get it. If you don't get, then ask me the process. I will share the procedure also. In the last lecture, I have discussed about the how to calculate the capacitances of the this of the sheath or of the cables, and in that I have discussed about two types of experiment we used to do. That in one experiment we joined the two conductors to the sheath, and the other conductors we measure the capacitances between the other from the other conductor. So, and in the next experiment we do that the capacitance we bundled or short all the three together with the sheath. Okay, so that on the basis of that there is one numerical, and here you can see a 1 kilometer long line, 11 kV 3 core 3 phase metal sheath cable sheath cable gave the following test results. Capacitance between two conductors joined to the sheath. Okay, joined to the sheath, and the third conductor is 0.61. So if you check out the experiment, it was C1, right? So in this the second one is that the capacitance between all the three conductors bundled together and the sheath is 0.96 microfarad. So it was C2. Okay, and you have to calculate that the effective capacitances of each core to the neutral. So it is actually asking you to calculate CS. Okay, to the neutral. So if you find out that there was a core here, and what we did that the capacitances, this was yours, this was in CC connection, and this was in delta connection, and this was our CS. So we converted this into star, right? We converted into star, and what we did, we find out the neutral, we connected it to the sheath, right? Virtual neutral, and then we did we did the calculation. So it is actually what it is asking, it is asking with the each core to neutral, right? Each core to neutral. So each core means one core, and then it is the neutral. So neutral is actually we are just connecting it to the, so just find out, do the calculation and tell me the answer. Okay, share the answer in the Google Classroom. The next topic is losses. Losses in underground cables. Okay, so this is the last topic for underground cables. So there are different types of losses. So the most favorite of an electrical student is I square R loss. So this is the first loss. This happens in your cables also. Okay, and it is basically happening in your core. Okay, it is happening in your core. So I need not to discuss more on that, which is what is this. Next is your next loss which which the underground cable suffers from is the dielectric. dielectric power loss, dielectric power loss of cables. Okay, so we will be discussing more on this. Okay, because this is one of the untouched areas which you have not studied still so far. Next is the sheath loss and armoring loss. Okay, so these losses are very minimum. These are also can be compared as a stray losses. So we are not more focused on this one. We will be more focused on this dielectric power loss because this is the one of the biggest challenges for a cable. Okay, now talking about dielectric, you have heard about that. Dielectric is the medium that transfer uh, the energy from your positive plate to the negative plate, and that you are calling it as you have talked about that property we are just called as capacitances, right? So here, so we have seen this medium, dielectric medium in your capacitances. So what happens that when I have already shown you that how the capacitances are coming in picture for a core, between core and your insulating material. So what the people used to calculate that there is a dielectric medium between this, and they just model it with a resistance and a capacitance in parallel. Okay, so this resistance is the insulation resistance, and this capacitance is the capacitance between of the dielectric medium. Okay, so this modeling of your insulation creates some losses. So loss will be in the insulation resistance, but this loss will not be in phase with the voltage. Means what? That here what happens that this is the resistance and this is the capacitance. Okay, and suppose there is an voltage here, and this voltage has a constant. Voltage is constant and your frequency is also constant, because right now we will discuss more on frequency because it gets affected with the frequency also. So what happens, this voltage is nothing but your core phase voltage. Okay, this is the phase, and this is the ground potential. So here this voltage which you are talking about is the phase voltage. Okay, so phase voltage is applied across a resistance and a capacitance. Okay, so what will happen is that there will be a leakage current here, and this leakage current will get divided into two parts, that is your IR, resistive component, and another is your capacitive component. Okay, so if you draw the phasor with respect to the voltage, with respect to this voltage, phase voltage, what you will find out that this IR will be in phase, right? This IR will be in phase, but your IC, this IC will lead your voltage, and that will be in perpendicular, right? So that this will leading your voltage by 90-degree, right? And that is our IC. Okay, now if you sum it up, means there will be a phasor sum. What you will get? You will get the resultant current, and that resultant current will be I. Okay, so this I current is the resultant of these two. Now has a phase difference. There is an angle between your resultant current and your IC, and that angle we are calling it as delta. Okay, so what will be this one? This will be your 90 minus delta, right? Okay, now this angle is called displacement angle. Displacement angle displacement angle. It is also called as or loss angle. Okay, now if you see here that there is a phase difference. If you check out the phase difference between your resultant current and your voltage or phase voltage, it will be this angle. Okay, so if you talk about the power factor, it will be cos of 90 minus delta, right? 90 minus delta. So this is nothing but sine delta. Okay, so power factor, we can determine the power factor of your cable as sine delta, and the sine of the displacement angle. Okay, we'll talk more on it. We have discussed that there was two currents, like one is your one component of the current that is going on in your resistance, and other component that is going in your capacitance. Okay, so we have drawn this. Now here, talking about your dielectric loss. So the resistive component will create the loss, as you know, but capacitive does not create it. It makes a phase displacement. Okay, so your resistive component will make your loss. So what dielectric loss will be? The voltage that is appearing across your uh, resistive component. So that is voltage across IR. Okay, so this is the loss. Now what about if you talk about your tan delta? And tan delta, if you take out the tan of this angle, so you will find out that tan is nothing but this perpendicular, that is nothing but your IR. Tan is equal to IR on IC. Okay, so just model it. So IR will be is equal to IC tan delta. So put this in the dielectric, this here. So what you will get? Dielectric loss will be dielectric loss will be V into IC tan delta. So IC can also be written as voltage across your capacitance and your uh, reactance. So here V upon XC. Okay, so this is IC. So your dielectric loss will be V into V upon XC tan delta. Okay, now what you can write? V square, and your XC is 1 by omega C, right? Omega C tan delta. So this omega C comes up. So your final dielectric loss will be V square into omega 2 pi F and C and tan delta. And remember the values. This is V is your per phase value. So capacitance also is your per phase value, right? So here, if you see, this is the one of the important relation for cables, that your dielectric loss is V square 2 pi F capacitance per phase and tan delta. But here I have already I have told you that voltage and frequency must be constant. So here dielectric loss is directly proportional to frequency. Okay. So if your frequency changes, dielectric losses also changes. Okay. So here for this is for a single core, single phase. Okay. For a three phase, if you talk about three phase dielectric loss will be 3 V square 2 pi F C per phase tan delta. So this is your three core three phase dielectric loss. Just because this is a three phase single phase, just multiply with 3, you will get this dielectric loss. So what here what you can conclude is that dielectric loss is directly proportional to voltage, it is directly proportional to frequency, and it is directly proportional to tan delta. Okay, remember this tan delta is the angle. So if your angle is this very small angle, if delta is very small, delta is small, so tan of small angle will be very small. So you can say that it is directly proportional to, for very small angle, dielectric loss will be directly proportional to delta. Okay, delta value. Remember this. So this is your radian. So next we'll check around what are the losses that are that changes with different parameters. Like here, if your core current in the core changes, current of the core changes, if you increase the core current or your supply current changes, so your I square R loss will change. Okay, I square R loss will increase. What happens to the dielectric loss? So dielectric loss is remains constant. Okay, because dielectric loss is not proportional to the current. Okay, it is independent of load variation, you can say, independent of load variation, right? Independent of load variation. And talking about your seeth loss, okay, seeth loss. So seeth loss is basically dependent on your electric field intensity. Okay, or you can say that the EMF induced in the seeth, EMF induced in the seeth. Okay, so seeth loss is occurring in this part. So this EMF induced in this seeth, that is your proportional to d phi, and d phi is the core by dt. Okay, simple, just talking about what is seeth loss. So seeth loss is your voltage across your electric or EMF induced in this seeth, and that is your proportional to flux. Okay, so if your core changes, if your current core changes, core of the current changes, the flux will change. Okay, and if it increases, so your EMF induced will also increase, and if your EMF increases, such seeth loss will also increase. Next is your frequency of the supply varies if frequency increases. Now if frequency increases, I square R loss will not change. Okay, so mostly I can say that there will be some change due to skin effect and proximity effect, skin effect, but it remains small change, you can say small change. But if you ignore skin effect or proximity effect. Okay, so I square R loss, there will be a small change because of these two reasons, skin effect and proximity effect. Otherwise, it won't change much. What about the dielectric loss? Dielectric loss increases because I have already told you that dielectric loss, it is directly proportional to your frequency. And what happens to your seeth loss? Seeth loss, it also increases because rate of change of flux increases. Okay, so EMF increases. So seeth loss with respect to your frequency, it changes. Seeth loss also increases. Okay. Next is your, if your length of the line increases, if you increase the length of the cable, what happens? I square R loss will also increase. Will also increase. Length of the line increases because resistance and this length of the line increases. So your core resistance, this I square R loss, then this loss is actually your core loss, copper loss in the core, and this loss is not in your insulation. What happened to the dielectric loss? Dielectric loss, it also increases because the capacitance will increase. Capacitance per kilometer, per phase per kilometer increases, so with the increases with the length of the line. So here I have you check the formula. Dielectric loss is directly proportional to your capacitance, so it increases. And what happens to the seeth loss? Seeth loss, so it will increase. Length of the line increases, so EMF flux changes also increases. Length of the line, you can say that in the transformer formula there was 4.44 N F. So N is the number of turns. So if you increase the number of turns, EMF induction will increase, right? So here also in the same way, I'm picturizing that length of the line increases. That means that effect comes here. Then yeah, number of turns increases. Okay, so that's what the seed of increases. Okay, so that is what happens. So that makes us a limitation for our underground cables. Underground cables are limited, is limited for 50 kilometer for HVAC lines. HVAC lines. Okay, for AC lines, if you are using underground cables, you just limit yourself to 50 kilometers. Okay, but there is an advantage for HVDC lines. HVDC lines using underground cables. So here it is the I square R loss will be very less, or you can say that not if as effective as here. Dominant, you can say it is not that much dominant. Dielectric loss will be zero, completely zero, because frequency will be zero. Seeth loss also zero. Change of current will be not happening, so change of flux will be not happening. So seeth loss also zero. So so uh, the, uh, the you can say that the limitations which is with respect to the length of the line is not constraint for HVDC. So for HVDC line, underground cables is feasible. Okay, so there is a line between one there is a line from India to Sri Lanka. Okay, there is a line in the lower belt of your India to Sri Lanka. That's your 120 kilometer line, power line, and this is your HVDC some submarine cable. You can say HVDC submarine cable. Okay, because there is an ocean, so submarine cable. So there is a line already. I think it is already built up between India and Sri Lanka. Okay, so this is what here we'll discuss one numerical. We'll give you one numerical on your dielectric loss, and this will be clear for you. So here this is one of the numerical, and it is based on your dielectric loss. Okay, but here there is one difference between there is a difference in your capacitance calculation. uh, a 5 kilometer 11 kV 50 hertz 3 core 3 phase lead sheath cable gave the capacitance between any two conductors when the other conductor is connected to the sheath is 0.75 microfarad. Okay, calculate capacitance per phase per kilometer of the cable. Second, calculate the dielectric loss per kilometer if tan delta is this. Okay, so you try it, but here I will more focus on this statement. Here a different kind of measurement of your conductor happens here. Now here the what is it is saying the capacitance between any two conductors. Okay, when the other conductor is connected to the sheath. So here if you see here there are 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so three conductors, and all the conductors will have your core, core capacitances and your sheath capacitances, right? So what is this saying, that the other conductor is connected to the sheath. So here the other conductor is connected to the sheath. Okay, and your what from where it is measuring the capacitances, it is measuring the capacitances between the other two conductors or core 1 and 2. Okay, so how we can model it? So this is the potential. This potential is your sheath potential, right? So this part is connected to here, and this part is also connected to here. Okay, so these are in your same potential. So what I can say, that this CC and CS is in parallel, right? CC and CS is in parallel. Same here, because this conductor is connected to the sheath. So this part is connected to, so this CS and CC is in parallel. So how can model it? CS plus CC, CS plus CC and CS. So this is your, this capacitance is C3, right? So C3 is 0.75 microfarad. So just find out, you have to aim to get C per phase. So if you get C per phase, you can calculate this and you can calculate this. Okay, so it's if you have, if you have done the previous problem, if you have done the experiment of first two experiment, if you understood, then I hope you can solve this problem. Okay, and I want those people who can solve this problem, just put your answers there. You will be getting extra advantage. Okay, so just try it. That makes the focus of your class, how much you are focusing. So here we end up our underground cables. Next we will be going to HVDC systems. Some of the problems we will discuss on HVDC system. Okay.